Gauravata Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Continue speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 38. Adrishtaya Namaskritya
Ishtaya Namaskritya
Kripa Sandarshitatmane
Nipa Shandarshitatmane
Avyaktaya Cha Devanam
Avyaktaya Cha Devanam
Devaya Swapuram Yayo.
Devaya Swapuram Yayo.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. King Pṛthu then offered his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Lord of all demigods. Although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself to the sight of Mahārāja Pṛthu. After offering obeisances to the Lord, the king returned to his home. So, many people say, show me God, have you seen God? Or because I can't see God, God can't exist. But then there's so many things that we don't see. We can't see our mind, but it exists. But anyway, we need spiritual vision to see the Lord. We need the ointment of love so that we can see the Lord. The Supreme Lord is not visible to material eyes, but when the material senses are inclined to the transcendental loving service of the Lord and are thus purified, the Lord reveals himself to the vision of the devotee. Avyakta means unmanifested. Although the material world is the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is unmanifested to material eyes. After all, our eyes are so faulty, we can't even see the bacteria in front of us. And then if we say, oh, bacteria don't exist because I can't see them. But scientists say they exist because they have the microscope. So they have that special lens to see. Now, the special lens by which we will be able to see the Lord is the lens of love. Prema, Krishna Prema. And then the Lord reveals himself. We can't demand the Lord, oh, now you have to show yourself to me. No, when the Lord is pleased, he reveals himself. One cannot say, I served you now 10 years, 20 years. Now, why don't you reveal yourself? We can't order that to the Lord. When he's pleased, he reveals. Mahārāja Pṛthu, however, developed spiritual eyes by his pure devotional service. Here, therefore, the Lord is described as Sandarshitatma, for he reveals himself to the vision of the pure devotee, although he is not visible to ordinary eyes. Yeah, he reveals himself to the vision of the devotee, although he is not visible to ordinary eyes. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th Canto, 20th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Lord Viṣṇu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of Mahārāja Pṛthu. Chapter 21, Instructions by Mahārāja Pṛthu. Maitreya Vacha
Maitreya Vacha
Maktike Kusuma Sragbir
Tike Kusuma Sragbir
Dukule Swarnatorane
Ukule Swarnatorane
Mahasura Bhir Dhuper
Mahasura Bhibhir Suduper
Manditam Tatra Tatra Vai
Manditam Tatra Tatra Vai.
The great sage Maitreya told Vidur when the king entered his city, it was very beautifully decorated to receive him, with pearls, flower garlands, beautiful cloth, and golden gates. And the entire city was perfumed with highly fragrant incense. Real opulence is supplied by natural gifts such as gold, silver, pearls, valuable stones, fresh flowers, trees, and silken cloth. Thus, the Vedic civilization recommends opulence and decoration with these natural gifts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now where we have all this silken cloth and valuable stones to decorate, we use the artificial plastic things. This is the age of Kali. Then we'll use plastic which looks like gold and silver for decoration. But in earlier days, it was real opulence. Such opulence immediately changes the condition of the mind, and the entire atmosphere becomes spiritualized. King Pṛthu's capital was decorated with such highly opulent decorations. So it seems with this natural opulence, the mind also gets purified with what we are seeing. Okay. Chandana Guruto Yatra
Chandana
Guruto Yadra
Rathya Chatvara Margavat
Rathya Chatvara Margavat
Pushpakshata Falestokmer
Pushpakshata Falaisto Mair
Lajer Archibhir Architam
Lajair Chir Architam.
Fragrant water distilled from sandalwood and aguru herb was sprinkled everywhere on the lanes, roads, and small parks throughout the city. And everywhere were decorations of unbroken fruits, flowers, wetted grains, varied minerals, and lamps, all presented as auspicious paraphernalia. So from Bhagavatam, we can see that people of yore was not that we were cavemen and then from cavemen we have become like this human beings, or we were apes and we have become human beings. This is like millions of years ago. And we were in fact more advanced. Savrinte Kadali Sthambe
Sarvande
Rundai Kadalistambai
Uga Pote Pariskritam
Uga Potai Parishkrutam
Tarupallava Malabhi
Tarupallavamalabihi
Sarvata Samalankritam.
Sarvatah Samalankrutam.
At the street crossings, there were bunches of fruits and flowers, as well as pillars of banana trees and betel nut branches. All these combined decorations everywhere looked very attractive. So, all natural things. Prajastam Deepavali Bhihi
Rajastam Deepavalibihi
Deepavalibi
Samvrta Shesha Mangale
Samvruta Shesha Mangalai
Abhiyur Mrishta Kanyascha
Abhiyur Tushta Kanyascha
Mishta Kundala Mandita.
Mushta Kundala Manditaha.
As the king entered the gate of the city, all the citizens received him with many auspicious articles like lamps, flowers, and yogurt. The king was also received by many beautiful unmarried girls whose bodies were bedecked with various ornaments, especially with earrings, which collided with one and another. Offerings of natural products such as betel nuts, bananas, newly grown wheat, paddy, yogurt, and vermilion, carried by the citizens and scattered throughout the city, are all auspicious paraphernalia, according to Vedic civilization, for receiving a prominent guest like a bridegroom, king, or spiritual master. Okay. Similarly, a welcome offered by unmarried girls who are internally and externally clean and are dressed in nice garments and ornaments is also auspicious. Kumari or unmarried girls, untouched by the hand of any member of the opposite sex, are auspicious members of society. Even today in Hindu society, the most conservative families do not allow unmarried girls to go out freely or mix with boys. They are very carefully protected by their parents while unmarried. After marriage, they are protected by their young husbands, and when elderly, they are protected by their children. When thus protected, women as a class remain an always auspicious source of energy to man. So anyway, things are different now. This is the Vedic civilization. And you can see the natural products to welcome a prominent guest. Shankha Dundubi Goshena
Shankha-dundubighosena
Brahma Goshena Charvijam
Brahme
Brahma-ghosena Tatvirijam
Vishesha Bhavanam Vira
Vishesha Bhavan
Bhavanam Viraha
Sturyamano Gatasya.
Stuyamano Gatasmayah.
When the king entered the palace, conch shells and kettle drums were sounded, priests chanted Vedic mantras, and professional reciters offered different prayers. Batteries running low. But in spite of all this ceremony to welcome him, the king was not the least bit affected. So, to plug it in. The reception given to the king was full of opulence, yet he did not become proud. It is said, therefore, that great personalities of power and opulence never become proud, and the example is given that of a tree which is full of fruits and flowers does not stand erect in pride, but instead bends downwards to show submissiveness. This is a sign of the wonderful character of great personalities.
So I just have one question. So
Yeah,
this
just
is
one moment. Sorry, one moment.
Yeah.
Haribol, sorry, I had to computer.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Yes, sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, actually, I'm just trying to reconnect that this is when Mahārāja Pṛthu did the yagya, and
Yeah,
right after the yagya was finished, and when when Viṣṇu appeared, and they both had a conversation, and he offered the prayers and everything, and then after that, now he's entering his kingdom.
that's right.
So, but then,
Yes.
like, was he doing the yagya in the kingdom or no?
So what happens is the yagya many times would be
Mm.
done in special areas. There would be really big
Okay.
stadiums erected specially to do these kind of yagyas. You know, like special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, people were excited because knew that he has been doing 100 yagyas, and after that, when he's coming back, they are very happy because he's a nice king, right?
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That
Yeah, so they're
connects.
all
Yeah.
giving him a grand welcome now that the yagya
Okay.
is finished. Yes.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Pujita pujayam asa.
Pujitam pujay
Yamasa
Tatra tatra mahayasha.
Tatra Tatra
tatra
Mahayashaha
Puranjana padam stan.
Paurajana
gijna
Padamstam
pratan
The priya varaprada.
Prita
pritah.
Priya Varapradaha.
Both the important citizens and the common citizens welcomed the king very heartily, and he also bestowed upon them their desired blessings. A responsible king was always approachable by his citizens. Generally, the citizens, great and common, all had an aspiration to see the king and take benediction from him. The king knew this, and therefore, whenever he met the citizens, he immediately fulfilled their desires or mitigated their grievances. So even Lord Ramachandra, when he was ruling, he had said that anyone who has any issues, any complaints can come directly to the court. So the righteous kings were like that. Not that, oh, I'm a king, so but nobody can speak to me, and I'm not going to listen to anybody's complaints. In such dealings, a responsible monarchy is better than a so-called democratic government in which no one is responsible to mitigate the grievances of the citizens who are unable to personally meet the supreme executive head. In a responsible monarchy, the citizens had no grievances against the government, and even if they did, they could approach the king directly for immediate satisfaction. So the kings were really taking care of the citizens very nicely. Saeva madini anabadya chestita.
स एव माहिनी अलवत्यचेष्टितः
Karmani bhuyamsi mahan mahatama.
कर्माणि
कर्माणि
भूयांसि
महान्
महान्
महत्तमः
महत्तमाः
Kurvan shasa savani mandalam yashaha.
कुर्वन्
Kurvan
वनिमण्डलं यशः
शासनमण्डलम्
Pitam nidha yaruruhe param padam.
पितं
स्थितमितायारुरुहे
परं
परं
पदम्
पदम्
King Pṛthu was greater than the greatest soul and was therefore worshipable by everyone. He performed many glorious activities in ruling over the surface of the world and was always magnanimous. After achieving such great success and a reputation which spread throughout the universe, he at last obtained the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A responsible king or chief executive has many responsible duties to attend to in ruling over the citizens. The most important duty of the monarch or the government is to perform various sacrifices as enjoined in the Vedic literatures. So it is the duty of the rulers to make sure that whatever is prescribed for the age, that should be carried out, for the spiritual advancement. Like, for example, now for Kali, the sacrifice is Harinam Sankirtan. So it is the duty of the leaders to make sure this Harinam Sankirtan can go on nicely. The next duty of the king is to see that every citizen executes the prescribed duties for his particular community. It is the king's duty to see that everyone perfectly executes the duties prescribed for the Varna and Ashram divisions of society. Besides that, as exemplified by King Pṛthu, he must develop the earth for the greatest possible production of food grains. So the duties of the king, the next one is to make sure everyone is doing their duty properly as per the Varnas and the Ashram, and then develop the earth for food grains. There are different types of great personalities. Some are positive great personalities, some are comparative, and some superlative. But King Pṛthu exceeded all of them. He is therefore described here as Mahattama, greater than the greatest. Mahārāja Pṛthu was a Kshatriya and he discharged his Kshatriya duties perfectly. Similarly, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, and Shudras can discharge their respective duties perfectly, and thus, at the ultimate end of life, be promoted to the transcendental world, which is called Parampadam. Parampadam, or the Vaikuntha planets, can be achieved only by devotional service. So we may say, okay, how can I go to the Vaikuntha planets, to the spiritual world? Here, Srila Prabhupada is putting it in very plain words. One can go there only by devotional service. And devotional service begins by hearing and chanting. The impersonal Brahman region is also called Parampadam, but unless one is attached to the personality of Godhead, one must again fall down to the material world from the impersonal Parampadam situation. So we may think that God is light, and so we may reach up to the light, the Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti. But that situation is not permanent, it is temporary, because we have not yet entered a planet, a Vaikuntha planet. So to enter the Vaikuntha planet, one needs to engage in devotional service. I'm sorry, it is said, therefore, Aruya Krichrena Parampadam Tata. The impersonalists endeavor very strenuously to achieve the Parampadam or impersonal Brahmajyoti. But unfortunately, being bereft of a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they come down again to the material world. If one flies in outer space, he can go very high up. But unless he reaches a planet, he must come down again to Earth. Because after all, how long can a person fly in space? How long? So similarly, how long can one just fly be in the Brahmajyoti? That's why we need to have this relationship with Krishna, so that even if one reaches the Brahmajyoti, then they know where to go further. Oh, I have to go to the Vaikuntha planet. But if they don't have information that, oh, from there I have to go to the Vaikuntha planet, then they will come back to the Earth planet. Similarly, because the impersonalists who reach the Parampadam of the impersonal Brahmajyoti do not enter into the Vaikuntha planets, they come down again to this material world and are given shelter in one of the material planets. Although they may attain Brahmalok or Satyalok, all such planets are situated in the material world. So we may reach up to Brahmaloka, or it's called Satyaloka. It's the planet of Brahmaji. It's the highest planet in the material world. But it's still in the material world, still subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. So, are there any questions or comments? Stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.